Hello, good people, welcome. Bad people, welcome. Anyone, medium people between good and bad people, welcome. Anyone who wanna learn more about SEO, how you can get results, welcome. Today we are going to discuss about international SEO. We can cover about AI, many different topics, and I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Julia-Carolin Zeng. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Welcome back one more time. I'm looking forward to learn more. I know about your valuable insights in my first episode. I got your lessons in my SEO course. I'm so proud to learn from you, and yeah, looking forward to learn more. Especially, you mentioned before the podcast that you can cover about something that others can't do or can't accept, controversial topics. Yeah, looking forward to find another side of the coin. And Julia, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background. Remind for previous listeners, for new listeners, about what you do online and anything that can help others to learn more about you.
Yeah. So my name is Julia, and I'm a freelance SEO consultant. So I help businesses rank higher in Google by telling them what changes they should make on their websites to improve their SEO. I specialize in international SEO because my background is in languages. So I studied French, Spanish, and Italian at uni. And wow, what's that that look about? So that kind of puts me in a good position there to work in different markets and also work with people in the different markets. So international SEO is kind of my niche that I've discovered for myself. I am native German, but I've lived in the
Mm.
UK for the last few years, and that's also where I'm based and where most of my clients are based. And I've become a digital nomad over the last 2 years.
Mhm.
So I'm also traveling many months in a year when I'm not in the UK. So yeah, that's
Nice.
me.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. I love your experience, and at school, I found that specialists who speak a few languages they are more productive. And I g- and by the way, Joe Sugarman wrote on his book 40 years ago that everyone needs to speak two and more languages because if they speak, they I don't know how, but their mind can work much better, more productive than if you speak just one language. And yeah, that's cool to learn from different cultures. Julia, I want to start from the first question. I'm interested about AI. When we had the first episode, AI was not like we have today. I used AI that time, but today I can use a lot more after ChatGPT and GPT-4. Yeah, works much better, provide accurate data. So can you tell how you use AI today to get high results in Google?
Well, I can tell you how you should not use AI
Okay, yeah,
for
sure.
SEO. So please don't write all your content by a machine. And
Mhm,
it's interesting. I had recently a discussion with some other people in SEO, and our theory is that we will still need writers, human writers, in the years to come, but their role will shift more into an editing role and not so much a writing role. So they use things like ChatGPT to get the outline of the content, to save some time on research, but then the human goes and checks
mhm,
that content, rephrases things to make them sound a bit more natural. Really important fact checking. And that's not just for international SEO, that's for SEO in general or for anything you do with AI. Double check that the information is accurate and maybe check where it is coming from, what are the sources there. And yeah, really important rephrasing because you start to see patterns, especially in longer texts. You notice the sentence structure is always the same. And quite often, what I've seen when people have tested AI content is that there's a lot of redundancy. So information is in there multiple times, just said in a bit of a different way, but it's exactly the same, and you read this and you think, "Oh, this is boring. I don't really want to keep on reading this." So that's where we need the humans to make it a bit more exciting and yeah, keep
I
them engaged.
I couldn't agree more because if you ask ChatGPT, please write article how to learn French, how to lose weight, how to play guitar, you get generic answers. You can
Yeah,
get much better information on Google
yeah,
because it's AI written, but uh, Wikipedia and many other websites can reply much better.
yeah,
Because of course, ChatGPT is the best rewriting tool ever. Rewriting, it's not writing, but if you feed with the right data, for example, I use ChatGPT to edit my press releases, and we got mentioned on CNN a few days ago. That was no, we wrote our press release, and we edited on ChatGPT. We didn't write from scratch, and CNN and other great publications, then they can recognize AI written content. I spoke with a few publications. They told me they procrastinated the process to accept press releases because after ChatGPT, they got a lot more requests, with generic press releases, because just go to ChatGPT, ask, please write press release about this topic. You get it for a few seconds, but it's not nothing new. Journalists don't need such press releases. And Julia, I'm interested about translation. In international SEO, we need to translate from different languages, and we do it. We do it. We translate from English to Russian, Ukrainian, and 10 other languages. And let me share my process. I usually translate to languages that I understand. For example, Russian, Ukrainian. Yeah, I know how it looks on these languages. Then if I see everything looks fine, then I translate to other languages and it works. So can you tell, is it good idea today to use ChatGPT to translate your website and cover more broad audience?
no. In
No?
short, no, no.
Okay.
Machine translations in general have never been a good idea since the early days, and ChatGPT does not change that, because you have multiple ways how to say certain things in a language. And what makes you think that the tool always picks that up correctly? There are sometimes words
I
that
can
can
tell
be
you what.
translated
Uh-huh.
with different words. You don't know the context. And then in most cases, if you are an expert in your field, which it means there's expert terminology in the other language. And all the machines, they have been trained on basic language. They don't know necessarily your industry. Like if it's a medical topic, if it's legal topics, you need to know the right terminology for your translation to be
Yeah,
accurate,
of course, of course.
and that
I,
just
I
doesn't work.
yeah, I think so. It's better to give to proofreaders, to
Mhm.
experts, who can fix it.
Yeah,
But we translate to Russian and Ukrainian languages because we speak these languages. And if we see that it's not, for example, if I translate in Google Translate or Deep Crawl, I don't remember exactly the name of this website, but
deeper.
yeah, and it's not good. We need to
Yeah,
edit. But on ChatGPT, we use prompts. Please consider the culture of this country, consider
yeah,
the language that people can speak. For example, if I translate to Turkish or Italian, yeah, we ask ChatGPT, please consider people in these countries. And after checking with Russian and Ukrainian language, if I'm feeling that I can't fix anything after this
yeah,
translation, that means we tried with different
yeah,
languages. I think it depends on prompts, but of course, for medical niche, it's not a good idea.
yeah,
I don't want to have anything that provide the wrong information. So yeah, it depends. Okay, Julia, I wanna ask you about creating the right strategy. What people usually do, they go to SEMrush, Ahrefs, Uber Suggest,
mhm,
many great tools. Google Keyword Planner, it's free. So they find generic high volume keywords. But what I found, it's hard. It's hard to get results with these keywords because you can compete with Wikipedia. If I use SEO, I need to compete with Moz, Ahrefs, Neil Patel, many great resources. They deserve these ranking positions. They have resources. It's not only about creating high quality content. They have authority, trust. People wanna see their content first. Uh, in the second, it doesn't mean that I can sell by having these keywords because uh, it's not related to my products, to have SEO. And it's a big trap. I spoke with webmaster who lost 400,000 traffic because Google dropped his ranking positions, but he didn't lose any sales. So he got a lot of traffic that didn't convert. So can you tell your methods how to create the right strategy considering customers, competitors, and your unique selling proposition?
Yeah. So that is, of course, different in every industry, and especially in the context of international SEO, also different for every country. So something that brings a lot of traffic and converts in one market might not in another. So that's for international SEO, the first thing to always keep in mind is that all this work needs to be done separately for each market. So you can't just do this for the English market and then take this into the other markets and hope that it works. And then the well, the go-to is usually to pick one of these tools that you mentioned, because you're already getting so much data. So if you only use Ahrefs or only use SEMrush or only Keyword Planner, that is already enough data. You don't need to make it more complex, because also these tools, they give you different search volumes. It's not really comparable numbers. So stick to one tool that you want to go with. And then what I usually do is I look a bit around, is like, who else is in that industry, that field, or that topic? And that might not necessarily be direct competitors. That can also be blogs and magazines that talk about the same topic and compete with us about the same keywords. So we need to broaden a bit how we understand the word competitor. And then I download the keywords that they are ranking from, for example, SEMrush, Ahrefs. Both these tools do that. You can download all those keywords that these other websites are ranking for. And this is now where machine assistants can come in very handy in a first categorization, because you want to understand, okay, I have now here 50,000 keywords. I can't go through all these keywords by myself. So I need a bit of machine help here for me to categorize, to give me an idea, where am I and where should I even start. And these tools, they already do that. If you download one of these keyword lists, it already gives you a field for what is the intent here. Is it commercial? Is it informational? And so on. You can already get information about categories or overarching topics. But in the end, you still need to look at that with a human eye and decide, somebody who puts that keyword into Google, what are they really hoping to find? And if the answer is they just want a definition, then that won't really help you get any sales, because the user just wants a definition and he or she gets this definition directly in Google. They don't even have to click on your result anymore. So what you want to start with is those keywords that are more likely to generate a click to your website in the first step, and maybe even a purchase, a conversion.
Yeah.
And to understand keywords at that deep level, you need a human brain. It's great. It's great that these machines tell you, oh yeah, these keywords have commercial intent. And then you look at them and you're like, yeah, but it's the wrong target audience, or maybe our tool does something similar and it doesn't exactly offer that. So you also need to take into account, what can my product or service actually do? Because if a keyword asks for a solution that you cannot offer, and then it's also important to really check for those keywords that you want to target, who is ranking for them, What I see quite often is clients, they want to rank for keywords, the top 10, the best of this and that. And then you look at the search results and all you see are comparison websites
Yeah.
where you're like, well, your website is not a comparison website. You try to sell a product. So even if you get a list out there where you compare all your competitors to one another, Google won't rank you for that because they know that you're not neutral, especially for like SaaS products. Gartner, for example, brings out these really great lists of software comparisons. They hold not only authority, they're also neutral in that sense because they are not selling these products themselves. And these are
Hmm.
all things that you need to understand about every single keyword that you take
Yeah.
into your strategy. And that is true
Valuable.
across all the markets. And then you also need to understand how do people in each market behave? Do they really want to buy? Like one example, I had a client of mine, they're trying to sell a screenshot software.
Hmm.
And we were in the first step when we started working together, they wanted to target the educational sector because it was just after pandemic. Everybody had moved online also in education. So they saw a great opportunity there for teachers to use screenshot software. And what I said to them, look, you have so much competition out there that offers the tools for free.
Hmm.
And especially in Germany, my home country, teachers aren't willing to spend money on software that they can get for free.
Hmm.
And it took the client a while to realize that what I had told them about the German market was right. Because for France and for the US and all those markets, everything was fine and it was converting. But their education also is in big parts private. So
Hmm.
they do have more funds to begin with. Whereas in Germany, schools get government money and so they don't spend it on
Hmm.
tools that you have to pay for. They look for
Yeah.
free alternatives. So there was just the conversion, the chances to get a conversion were much lower, even though you're ranking first position in Google, everybody clicks on it, but they're still not buying.
Yeah.
Or they
Right.
sign up for the free trial and then they don't convert for the actual paid scheme. So
Mhm.
these are all things, especially with international SEO, that you need to take into account.
Nice. I can feel that I watch the movie, because when you share this value, you are shining, we got more light.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting in a little photo booth here,
Uh,
and I can't really change the phone booth.
yeah,
Yeah,
no
I'm
worries,
in a
no
co-working
worries,
space.
yeah. But I got this feeling, wow, more value, more shine, more light. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Julia, I want to ask you about your photo background in journalism. It's interesting that I often see when websites use stock photos, pictures, and I don't know how about today, but Google couldn't recognize photos and pictures for a long time. But today, probably Google can because this AI can draw these pictures even. And it's not only about alt text, it's more about users. Users wanna get something new. If you submit stock picture, even if its quality better than real photo or picture, users can uh, they might see or get this picture in other places, so it can hurt user experience. So can you tell how it's important today to create or make photos, pictures unique for users, and your tips how to find I don't know, the best way how to submit in your content.
Yeah, that's a tricky question. I say it from the perspective. I also do have a travel blog, and I do all my
Hmm.
photos myself.
Ooh.
So I
Oh,
walk
send
around
me this
with a
blog.
I walk around with a real camera. So it's
Mm.
not even just phone photography. So it's kind of a topic that is important to me personally because I've gone through doing courses for photography and really learning how to take a good picture that tells a story. really sometimes with a bit of a journalistic background, storytelling behind it. But it's not so much SEO related. For SEO, especially if you're selling products, of course you want good photos of your products. You don't want a stock image of a product that qualifies as what your product is doing. Like, let's say a face cream. You couldn't put a picture there of another face cream. It needs to be a picture of the one that you're actually selling. Then the other problem is copyrights. If you take a photo from somewhere on the internet, the photographer could sue you for that, and you would have to pay them a lot of money then. So always double check where you really take these photos from. And yeah, it is right. I've noticed that myself. People use stock photos, and even they're lazy. They type in one word and take one of the first pictures that come up, and everybody does that, and you keep seeing the same picture everywhere.
Yeah.
That's not good user experience. And with everything, and we haven't touched on it when we spoke about the chat GPT content, but with SEO, yes, the first goal is you want to bring visitors to your website, but the final goal is you want to sell your products or services. You want them to convert. And to do that, you need to kind of reach them on an emotional level. You can't do that with machine content. You need to have some personal element in there. And the same with photos. You really want something that convinces them of what you're doing, and that maybe triggers an emotion and makes them, oh yeah, I really want to buy this. And there is the question, can you really do that with stock photos? And everybody has probably noticed it themselves. How do you browse through the internet? What are your impressions when you read a piece of content that just sounds boring? You're like, well, why would I buy from these guys? I don't feel like I have a connection to them. But if you read something that is written in a really personal way, maybe it is a bit entertaining, somebody is playing with words, you feel this connection. You're like, oh my God, I trust these guys. Yeah, I can buy from them. And so all these things play in, and that is with images and of course with text. And in the context of international SEO, what is important with images is that they also resonate culturally. Of course, you can translate content, but you also always should double check, are these images appropriate? And really, do they resonate culturally? Like one standard example that probably everybody understands is if you translate something to Arabic and target that audience, don't put an image there of a woman in a bikini.
Yeah.
Easy thing. So all these things, take them into account. And I had an interesting discussion lately with somebody about on which hand you wear a wedding ring. And me constantly being surrounded by international people, I was like, okay, now I'm not sure about this anymore. And then I looked it up, and it really is, in the German-speaking countries, you wear it on your right hand. And everywhere else in the world, it's mostly the left hand. And that made me think, okay, so if your website, if you're trying to sell wedding rings, you probably have beautiful images there of women with nicely done nails and everything, and you see the ring on their hands. Does it resonate with people? If it is on the other hand, then what they're used to in their culture. So you need to change these images.
Yeah. Nice sharing. By the way, if you wanna cover Arabic countries and don't want to show women in bikini, I can tell you one secret. These guys love women in bikini. you know,
Yeah.
Uh, of
but
course,
it's not culturally appropriate.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
thing.
but
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't cover government,
Yeah.
you cover people.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so yeah, and I know because I uh, promote some content about investing, trading
Yeah.
for these countries, and of course, it's not good for common thinking, but you help users, and I remember uh, Prime Minister of England. I don't remember her name. And when she traveled to uh, yeah, to some Arabic countries, and many people ask you to wear this this hat. She denied. She told, "I wanna show people how women can look without that. So we are free. We don't need to wear something because of this culture, and I'm against." Such culture, So I think people are still people. Yeah, of course we have regulations, we have some cultures. It's not good idea probably if you go to the church, but yeah, people are still people. So they love women in bikini. Believe me. If I'm wrong, guys, please wrote in the comments. Okay, Julia, I wanna ask you about you mentioned about content a lot, and it's interesting. Once I spoke with Jim Edwards. He worked in Business Insider 10 years. He started on this company from scratch. Then company was sold for $500 million. Great success. And he told me that success of Business Insider depends on creating non-boring content. Today most content are boring. I see everywhere. I love reading business books. Most of them are good for sleeping. You can sleep well. Just take a new boring book. It's not like Jack London or I don't know many other great authors. But I can't tell that all books. Of course, Josh Sugarman, when he wrote this book about marketing 40 years ago, I can relate all these insights to digital. I have the feeling that he wrote this book about digital more than about common marketing, because human psychology the same. Nothing changed. Technologies change, but people are still people. And you mentioned about emotions. You need to provoke these emotions. And for example, when I watch any presentation from Google, Tim Cook, Steve Jobs, Tim Cook shared great stories about how gadgets can help to decide your problems, many things, and it's not boring. It's interesting to watch. But I see when content creators submit a lot of features, create boring content, and that's why bounce rate is high. So can you tell how to create non-boring content? Of course you are going to share value is the most important, but if it's boring, people bounce. So any tips about that?
Yes, that's just the general tips about writing. And what I noticed, and I had a discussion with another SEO consultant about that a few weeks ago. When I started in SEO, I kept telling my clients a lot, structure this content better. There should be subheadings, paragraphs should be shorter, use bullet points when you need to use bullet points. And I have the impression that it has a bit come back to this. I don't see that as often anymore, that you get these long blocks of text where you already look at it and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to read this anymore. So I feel like we've kind of regained some of the original editorial standards, that you just write content and structure it well and have an outline. You start with an introduction, then comes your body text, then comes a little summary or your point or however you want to call it. And I really feel that we're on the right track there to come back to good writing. Now it's just about how do we write. And what I noticed the last few years, especially when you work in WordPress and you use the Yoast plugin, pretty sure a lot of the listeners here have
Yeah.
experienced that. It also does a few like spell checks and then tells you what is your reading score here. And what I always found really annoying is when it was telling me you're starting 3 consecutive sentences with the right word, with the same word, where I'm like, yes, I've done this on purpose. This is my style. This is how I want to start these sentences, because that can have a nice impact if you read
Mm-hmm.
something and 3 consecutive sentences start in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And it was telling me, no, you can't do this. I'm like, yes, I can. It's how I want to write. It's how I
Yeah.
want to trigger an emotion. So I think there are things, it's good to have these tools to help us write, but we should still have our common sense and question, what is this tool providing us? And why has the writer, or in this case myself, decided to do this differently?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so what I've chosen for my personal blog, I have this little stuffed animal called Charlie, and it's
Mm-hmm.
Charlie who travels the world. And so everything I write is a lot of storytelling. And it's really about Charlie went here, Charlie went there, Charlie did that. So instead of, oh, here's a list of the 5 places you should visit when you're in that part of the world, I'm telling a story. And
Mm-hmm.
that I found the feedback I get from people is very positive because they can relate to it. It's not static content. There's something happening. There's also a bit of excitement. It is highly personalized. And this is also something I've seen in general in the SEO industry. People want to know who has written that content. And that's also part of Google's EAT expertise, authority, trustworthiness, is that you actually know who is the person that has created this and why do they do that? What prior knowledge do they have? What type of education? Why are they an expert in that field? And that I think is what makes a big difference, to not write a scientific paper, but a piece of content with a human reader in mind.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Awesome. You know, I want to ask you about how to stand out from the rest. You know, you mentioned that you want to write differently, and that's great, you know, because people are not willing to read the same copies. You know, I often get um, the same feeling when I watch new movies with the plots that other movies have. You know, it's not interesting. You know, of course, when you know the end, when you
Yeah,
watch the same movies, it's not interesting. But if you get something new, yeah, it's exciting.
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
and that's why for me it's important to be creative, because value, it can be valuable if others have it. Uh, and But you know what I see when people misunderstand user intent and standing out from the rest. I mean, like it's the same like when people confuse about frequency and consistency. You know, frequency doesn't mean that it's not the same, because consistency, like branding, he's consistent to write a blog post a month. He's consistent, you know.
yeah,
It doesn't mean that he needs to write every single day, you know, or a few times a day.
yeah,
And It's the same with user intent, because most ASOs can tell. You need to learn user intent. Of course, we need to learn, but we need to stand out from the rest. Can you tell the difference between them? For example, if you wanna cover a list of best tools, and you see in the top 10, 10 best tools, 15 best tools, 5 best tools, and most recommendations like add a few best tools, you know,
yeah.
and stand out from the rest. But it's not the same. So can you tell how to make difference by considering user intent?
So what I always do in such cases when a client of mine wants to create such a piece is I check what is already out there, what have others done. So that's the minimum that we need to do for Google to consider it. And then think about how can we stand out? What do we know that others don't? Or is there maybe an information? And quite often you already see, okay, that website they mentioned this, that website they mentioned that, another website mentioned that. So how about we mention all 3 of them and
Yeah.
provide a bit more information in one place? It can be sometimes as easy as that. Oh yeah, you speak about creativity, and that's exactly it. So you need to find creative ways how to make it better. Sometimes the answer is to make it just a bit more interactive. Maybe you need to add a few more images that people can, like in a carousel, scroll through, or something that they can open here, or a little quiz or a test or something like that to make it interesting. But it always depends what it is and what you're trying to achieve. But yeah, creativity is key, and it's not meant to be easy. So if what you're doing there feels easy, you've probably not gone the full mile and need
Hmm.
to put a bit more in. And yeah, SEO, the thing that I enjoy about SEO is that it is a good mix of different things. It is analysis, it is technical, it is just content and standardization and being precise, but it's also creative, highly creative. You always need to find new ways to do old things. So
Mhm.
that's exactly it. Yeah.
Nice. Julia, I wanna ask about you. Let's leave SEO.
Hmm.
I check out your LinkedIn profile, and I can see you speak on Lisbon, on London. You take part on conferences. You have your travel blog. Of course, if you visit all these places, you can
Yeah.
film about that. Yeah, when you will go to Japan, I will go with you because I wanna visit this country as well. And uh, can you tell what will you do today differently to learn more about SEO? The reason why I'm asking about that, I found that we usually get better results, high results with clients who understand SEO. If they don't, take our course, learn from uh, Lily Ray, Jeff Coyle, Mike Phillips, Julia Zeng, from all these great offers, because you can understand how it works. It costs like $20. It's not my business model, it's more about creating brand awareness, but it can help students to learn to understand. And if you like, go to YouTube, Google, anything, read books, just learn.
Hmm.
Understand the basic, then you can cooperate with others. You can speak one language. You can understand each other. Why we need to create high quality content? Why we need to have white hat SEO, link building, PR? Uh, what will you do today to learn about SEO if it's your first day in SEO? You never touch SEO. You use Google. Okay, you use Google to find some information, but you don't know how it works. So, your methods of learning today.
So the ways how I would recommend anybody who's new to the industry learn about SEO today haven't actually changed. So it starts with read the information that is out there, and there are lots of great resources. And then it comes to actually doing it. So you really only
Yeah.
learn SEO when you do it. And if you're lucky, how I was, where you find a great company, where you also then have a great mentor and somebody who points you a bit in the right direction, because you always need to question everything you read, because it might not apply to a particular industry. But then it's about doing it and having a bit of an exchange with other people. And again, there are great communities out there for women. For example, there's Women in Tech SEO, and there's a Slack, and there's a conference now twice per year, and it's really good to just talk to other people that do it, and especially people that have done it for longer, and get all this input. And then get hands on, get your own website out. And it's not as difficult anymore as it was 20 years
Yeah.
ago to start a website. People always think, oh my god, a website. No, it's really not hard, and you will learn so much by doing that. And then you also, what I notice, it also makes me better at communicating with my clients to tell them, hey, this is what you should change on your website, when I know how much it took me to actually change that on my own website. So you understand a bit better what's behind all of that. Communication becomes easier, and you just learn so much. So if you can't find the perfect job where you get suddenly exposed to everything, just get your own website out there and have that a bit as a playground. That
Yeah.
can be a blog, something you just enjoy writing about. You don't need to sell products or anything like that. Just get it out there and see what works, what doesn't, and how it
Yeah.
works.
I couldn't agree more. I think,
Yeah,
I don't know how to learn, for example, to play basketball without playing basketball. You can read books how
exactly.
to play
Yeah,
basketball.
yeah, yeah.
You can watch
It's
podcasts
yeah,
how
yeah,
listen anything, yeah.
yeah,
But you need to take the ball and play
yeah,
basketball,
yeah,
the, the same everywhere, without doing. Yeah, by the way, I often see people who overlearn. They learn a lot by,
yeah,
but if you do nothing, you get nothing.
yeah,
And yeah, we have this short memory. We can forget about something new for a few days. I can forget for a few hours. Just tell
yeah,
me something new, I will
yeah.
forget. And
That as well. And then the thing is with SEO, it's in 80% of the cases, 1 + 1 = 2. But in the other
mhm,
20% of the cases, It doesn't. So it
Yeah.
really depends on the industry you're in, the market, and what you're trying to achieve, who your customers are, is if that particular thing does work or not. So everything somebody reads or learns about SEO might not apply to what they're trying to do. So that's
Yeah.
what makes it so hard. And it is fast paced. It is quickly changing. There are also some great people to just follow on sources like LinkedIn or signing up for newsletters. Aleda Solis, for example, has a great newsletter where she always
Mhm.
puts up what's going on in the industry. There's also always links, people to follow, conferences, and all these things, and just yeah, get a conversation going with other people.
Nice, nice. Love it, love it. And Julia, my final question about the future. I wanna ask you to take your crystal ball and forecast the future because I used mine. Yeah, I used mine, but it didn't work. When
Mhm.
I bought crypto, when I bought some other assets, I don't know why. Of course, I read some predictions online from experts. Then I took my crystal ball. Crystal ball said me, yes, yeah, that's right, and I did it. Instead of getting up 3 times, that went down 3 times. But I never put all eggs in one basket, so that's fine. I can fail. That's okay. But anyway, I want to ask you about the future in SEO. We have AI. Apple is going to create augmented reality. I don't know how it works, but things are coming fast. But I know exactly. For example, marketers on TV and radio, they didn't lose their jobs. They adapted to digital. I think
Yeah.
if you have experience, you can adapt to any environment. Uh, but I want to ask you about what kind of future will be in your vision and how we can adapt or prepare today to this future.
So the how to prepare for this future is to always be willing to adapt and to
Hmm.
pivot, to change your strategy. Because what works today might not work anymore tomorrow. I don't think that SEO will ever become irrelevant or that SEOs won't have jobs anymore, but it will keep on changing over time, and you need to react to that. So um, one thing we might see is that searches that used to generate lots of clicks from Google search suddenly don't anymore because Google is displaying more and more information, for example, in Google. So then you need to think about, how do I need to change my strategy now to still get customers to my website? What can we do now? So yeah, it's always this willingness to adapt and change and to try and find new ways. Again, there comes in the creativity, and I also don't think that AI will take over the, the the jobs, because you still need a human. Similar to what I said about the writers, you still need a person there, but the way how they do their job changes, and that will be true for everybody in the industry. I would say at some point that they just need to change.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think you know AI. Yeah, I agree. I think AI can't, but it's better to consider AI to use
Yeah,
it. Not like for golden button, silver bullet. So of course everyone wants to have golden button, but just imagine if everyone has it, it doesn't work because
it's not golden anymore.
yeah.
If everybody can use it, it's not a golden button anymore.
Yeah, and yeah, we have competitors. We need
Yeah,
to think differently, but this golden button can help you
yeah.
to increase results, to improve it, just to adapt how you can use AI and other
and
technologies.
and
Yeah,
it can make certain things faster, certain tasks you
of
work on.
course. Yeah,
And that's I think why everybody should use it, because if your competitors are using it and they get the job done 3 times faster than you,
yeah,
you're obviously missing out, because they have more time then to do other things as well, and you don't if you're not using the AI tool that helps them to be quicker. So already that yeah,
Jeff Coyle told me, co-founder of Market News, he told me that in the future we'll have three companies. The first company will develop AI, the second company implement AI, and the third company will be obsolete. Just
Yeah.
leave the trade because you can't compete with someone who can use this technology. Yeah, if you can't develop, just implement. Think how you can use it in the right way, not like golden button, but to help with creating high quality content and improve you, update your products. Julia, it's a big pleasure to get on my show to learn from you. You're so kind to share all these valuable insights. I love it. Tell our audience the best way how to keep learning from you, how to follow you, how to reach out to you.
So I'm on LinkedIn under my full name. I'm pretty sure Anatoly is gonna show the name again.
Yeah.
It's a bit complicated. Then I do have my travel blog, which is charlieonthemove.com. So
Mhm.
Charlie, the little monkey that travels, and yeah, I guess for SEO, LinkedIn or Twitter as well. You can find me there. I'm not posting that regularly about SEO because I rather write about travel destinations when I write
Nice.
myself. But yeah, this is where you find me, where you can reach out to me. And yeah, I might do more of the search awards. You mentioned it earlier. I was last month in Lisbon for the European Search Awards, where I was on the judging panel. I'll be in Paris next month for the Global Search Awards. Again, I'm on the judging panel there. So I might do more of these. So you probably see me around Brighton SEO. I'll be there if you want to have a chat. So yeah.
Yeah, so great. Okay, guys, you can find links to LinkedIn, to travel blog. Please send me to my email. My team will submit the podcast episode. Yeah, I'm going to read this blog as well because I love traveling. I'm addicted to traveling. So addicted. When I started to travel, I got it. I can't avoid traveling because
Yeah.
yeah, it's boring. To be in one place. So I'm going to read your blog. I'm will be your the best fun because I know about traveling. And guys, let me know if you have any questions. Ask me in the comments section. Julia, it's a big pleasure. Again, thank you. Welcome back anytime to share more valuable insights. Guys, you need to follow Julia because you can see a lot of value. Okay, love you. See you.